going to steer his way to Indianapolis. That after he and the Lions agreed to part ways. So, Nick, would Matt Stafford be a good fit on the Colts?
Oh, yeah. I happen to think almost any of these quarterbacks on the move could be a good fit on the Colts. I like their coach, love their offensive line. When healthy, they have a good defense. I think they could probably use an upgrade at wide receiver. T.Y. Hilton is getting a little up there in age and less reliable injury-wise. But, yeah, I think Stafford would be a great fit on the Colts. And organizationally, going from what has been just a carousel of dysfunction in Detroit to what Chris Ballard is building in Indy makes a lot of sense. And bonus take, Brandon, that all of a sudden is a super winnable division. The Jags are in a rebuild around Trevor Lawrence. The Texans are a total mess, and the Titans are good, but I don't think great. So yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense with Stafford and Indy, Brandon.
Yeah, I echo what you already said, Nick. I absolutely love this organization, starting with Chris Ballard. Chris Ballard was a guy that I spent time with in Chicago. Still have a relationship with him to this day. He is a football guy. Frank Wright, he is a football guy. So when you think about Matthew Stafford being at the bottom of the barrel in the NFL for the last 12 years, you want to be around guys who's going to give you just football. Like the football makes sense. There's no drama. There's no chaos around what you are doing. This is the perfect place for him. Like you said, great offensive line, got a young wide receiver, defense is really good, and this is a guy that you can throw into the system. Frank likes to do everything. He likes drop back. He likes quick game. He likes throwing it down the field. He likes keeper, boot. He likes all of that stuff. This dude's football IQ is out of this world.
Yeah, well, when you talk about no drama and football IQ, I don't know if Indianapolis is a spot. I will make it a quick argument for Indianapolis. Philip Rivers, who's like, you know what, I'm cooked, threw for 10th most yards in the entire league. So I think if I'm Matthew Stafford, I'm looking around thinking like, I could probably go there. If he was through for 10th most, I'm better than him. But, Brandon, like you were saying, high football IQ, no drama, winning culture, needs a quarterback. You get an opportunity to play with Hall of Famer Julian Edelman, whose knee is on the mend.
That's not even his arm. Look at those little biceps. Every time you show me this, it's not even a good fit. He doesn't even look good in the uniform.
He doesn't even wear those bracelets.
Okay. You know what? We'll put him in the white uniform. We'll put him in our color.
We just poured water all over him.
Please.
All right, moving on.
Everything.
It was reported over the weekend that Deshaun Watson's top trade destination is the, Brandon, you sitting down for this, buddy? The New York Jets.
What?
The Jets followed by, yes, my friend, that followed by the Miami Dolphins. So, Brandon, where would you rather see Deshaun next year? The Jets or the Dolphins?
Don't ask me that
New York
question.
or Miami?
Don't ask me that question. Don't ask me that question. Yes, I live in Miami, but my heart's in New York. It's actually in Florham Park. I'm a guy, I travel with my helmet. So you guys know I live in Miami. I flew to New York yesterday. I'm walking through the airport with my helmet. Absolutely. It's going to be. You guys laughed at me. What? I can't travel with my helmet, Nick? I'm a Jets guy. I love this.
You're not at home.
Really quickly.
You're in.
Because of all of this, because everybody laughed at us when we lost the #1 pick. Oh, the Jets can't do anything right. The Jets. And then all of a sudden, we got Deshaun Watson, who could potentially be the Jordan of football. That's what was said, 4 or 5 years ago. Jets, Jenna.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Nick.
All right. Wilds and Jenna, you guys are about to be mad at me. Because I'm about to potentially, I don't know if it's worth it or not, but I'm doing it. I might do irreparable damage to this television show right here. All right. What Jack Easterby is doing to Cal McNair, the Svengali-like stuff whispering in his ear and mind-melding him, I am deeply concerned Brandon Marshall has done the same thing to Deshaun Watson. Now, I have no evidence that Brandon and Deshaun know each other, but the evidence I have is that Deshaun is now showing a preference for the Jets over the Dolphins. It's like, oh, I love Robert Saleh. I like him too. But Brian Flores, we know he's a great coach. Oh, the Jets could build a defense. The Dolphins have a defense. Oh, the AFC East is winnable. The Dolphins are in the AFC East. What? I don't understand it. Deshaun, oh, it's like, oh, New York's a great city.
New York, baby.
So is Miami.
New York. Where do you live?
Hey,
Where do you live?
With the money.
You think you're the only one that want to enjoy Harlem?
Guess what? With the money that Deshaun will save in state taxes, he can buy a private jet and go to Brooklyn whenever he wants. Go hang out with Brandon.
But then he can't.
Why would you rather?
But then he can't enjoy Red Roosters when he wants to.
Okay, listen, it would be fun to hang out with Deshaun at Red Rooster. That's true. But I don't understand it, Wilds. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I totally agree. Well, and Brandon, you know I love you. And you know you're always talking about the Brooklyn Nets, and you got your Jets helmet there. You talk up a lot about New York. And then we're like, hey, because we never know where anyone is, because Brandon's got multiple, jobs and businesses. And we're like, hey, Brandon, where are you? He's like, I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida. It's nice out here, guys. It's really good. He does it every other week. I'm in Florida. Hey, what's the weather there, Wilds? 22? Oh, I just was outside playing with my kids. I'm like, oh, I've been in my basement freezing cold. So I think Miami is more interesting, although Jets are getting all the headlines, Jenna.
Wilds needs heat in his basement. Fox Bet Sportsbook has set the odds on Aaron Rodgers' team for next season. They've got his current team and only team, the Packers, favored, followed by the Colts, the Broncos, the Steelers, and the Rams. Brandon, would it be a mistake for Rodgers to play anywhere other than Green Bay next season?
Yeah, if one of two situations doesn't present itself, I think Green Bay gives him the best opportunity. It's hard to say, because I feel like they've wasted his career. I've said that all year. But when you look at this team, they're not far off. They're a Charles Woodson type of player away from actually competing for a Super Bowl. They need a playmaker in the secondary. So those two situations that I think he should really consider if they present himself is the San Francisco 49ers. It's the LA Rams if they can pull it off. But outside of that, I would think that Rodgers and his camp would sit down and try to figure out what they can do to help this organization make the best decisions moving forward. He needs to have a seat at the table and potentially be in the draft room.
And I would argue that while a Charles Woodson type player would be amazing, I would argue they're 0 players away from competing for a Super Bowl. They are an Allen Lazard drop 2-point conversion away from having the ball with 2.5 minutes left, first and goal, down 6, to go to the Super Bowl with the roster as is. But more importantly, those Fox Bet odds, America, I don't say this lightly, and Fox Bet might get mad at me here, but I can deal with the heat. They posted the odds. Free money alert. It should be minus 100,000 that he's on the Packers week 1 next year. The fact that it's only minus 250 and you could put $250 to win $100, $2,500 to win $1,000, $25,000 to win $10,000, whatever you got. It's the return on your investment. You're going to get 37.5% return. I'm doing this quickly in my head. Yeah, 37.5% return in 7 months. That's better than any S&P 500 hedge fund. The only thing better right now is GameStop stock. Minus America. Minus 250 for Rodgers to be on the Packers next year might be the greatest wager I've ever seen.
Leave your money in the bank.
I'm just telling you.
I love it.
I'm telling you.
I love it.
The greatest wager I've ever seen, Wild.
I got tricked after the press conference. I was like, he's going to go. And then I started to request my Patriots Photoshops, and they're like, no, hold off, Wilds. I was like, Here's the reason, Jenna, besides everything Nick just said. When Matt LaFleur was asked about that, his response was so forceful. I'm like, yeah, he's not leaving. It was exact opposite of what we saw McVay talk about Jared Goff, or when Shanahan talks about Jimmy G, he's like, is he leaving? Like, I better not. He's the heart and soul of his team. He's not going anywhere. So I feel like the organization still wraps their arms around Aaron Rodgers. He's not going anywhere. I will be betting that money.
Pushing, but he's going to be pushing. But he can be pushing away. He can be pushing away.
Nobody thought that Tom Brady would really leave. We got to talk Buffalo Bills now. Will they be the Chiefs' big AFC rival for years to come? Josh Allen seems to think so. Toss that around next for 6 First.
Jenna,
A lot of those things surprised everyone.
For sale now.
and he was a free.
All right, put on your fake, way too loose seatbelts here on